Morning guys, quick solar update. This is about take 10. The last one I waffled on too long and just kept saying, I don't know what word it was, can't remember. If I can, I'll put it on the screen. But yes, let's just do a quick solar update. So it's been a few months, been manic, work's been manic. Just flicked off solar a couple of days ago to move the machines and switched it back on again. I have just literally switched them off again so I can take I took the pod down, so we're running on mains at the moment, which isn't very good, but obviously we've been running off solar for some period of time. A couple of little jobs to do before we can fire up the new system. So the old sunny island is next door in the garage, all wired up with the batteries and everything next door. The batteries are down here now, not on that back wall like I said that they were going to be. They're down here, but they're being charged from the sunny island next door. Everything else is sort of wired in. Basically all I need to do is connect the two ends on there when I'm ready to fire the new sunny islands up. So you might have remembered, I'll give you a spin. Right, pod was here, so I pulled, oh, nearly falling over, sorry. Pod was here on the sunny island, and originally I said I was going to do the two sunny islands and then the sunny boys. I think it looks nicer like that, and it leaves me space to carry on down there if I need to do any more sunny boys or add anything else. So now all three sunny boys are there. This one hasn't been commissioned or anything yet. This one, like I say, I've turned it off, but I'm going to be turning them back on in a minute to run the sunny, obviously to get us back on grid again. I can flick them on without the batteries being on because there's a little bit of sun, but we use about between 300 and 600 watts during the day. When the air source comes on, it's a bit more than that. We are now, what, 10th of November, something like that. We're quite fortunate the air source is only running occasionally at the moment because it doesn't think it's cold enough. That's another video coming up, so let's not worry about that. So two old sunny islands boys, two old sunny boys TLs. I've got the cable in there to go up there. This is going to be the RS 485 connection. That needs an Ethernet connection to it, and it basically it's going to run along. It's running along there and goes down there and into there where the data manager is. It's not wired up yet, like I say. I will be wiring it up, but because I've got a 5M backup, it's going there. So that's on this wall. That's where the batteries were going to go, but two new sunny islands. Batteries are here. I've cut the pod down. So I took the batteries out, put the batteries there, had them wired up. I have to keep switching it on and off to do the jobs. Managed to cut this down, get the batteries back in behind there, and I'm just about to fire it all back up again so I can carry on fiddling with this, get it ready for commissioning day, which is, I need internet down here to basically get these working. Going to be my master, going to be my slave. All the connections are done in the slave, so the lid's on. A couple of more connections in there to do, but I'll leave that lid off just in case because my digging and everything is in my master. Just used a bit of heavy duty, sorry, I've used bigger trunking, not heavy duty trunking. I've just used plastic, bigger, deeper trunking, because when you do the AC lines, they have to be exactly the same length cable, so I had to lose some of the cable in there. Slave, AC2, AC1, master, AC switches, again AC2, AC1. The only difference as well that I've done on this one, on the AC2 line, is I'm using NTT now and not neutral. That's because it tells you in the book to do that. Before I never had a mains connection, only a generator. So basically it tells you to wire into N. Because I'm using that, I've got it in NTT, but I am still, however, having a generator connection because I've got a transfer switch. I'll go over there and tell you how I'm going to wire that up. Signal wire for the generator. I'm going to let the Sunny Island do the starting and the stopping of the generator. If I need it through relay 1, I'm using a signal in the ditch in from the transfer switch. So let's move over to the transfer switch and I'll tell you for why. So basically AC2 comes out, got to disconnect, screws the shadow in. To connect the two together on this, which is my AC1, which is going to the house, basically got 63 trip, the 232s for the two Sunny Islands, the 32 for the new Sunny Boy, and the 216s, and then that 40 is feeding another fuse board to give me power in here. And then the AC going out or coming in, so the grid, if you like, connection coming in to join the two. Got a RCD, two MCBO 32s just to join them. And they basically go up and go into this transfer switch. Now I've got a transfer switch and I've made like a disconnect switch. Transfer switch, obviously generator in, mains in. That's the two wires on pin 16 and 17 that are going to the digin. So when this loses grid, that relay send the signal to the digin of the Sunny Island to let the Sunny Island know there's a generator, because it uses variable frequency and you can't backfeed. I'm going to try not to backfeed, and I think, to be honest, with the winter time, it's not going to backfeed. Because if I didn't say, I've got 8 kilowatt, 8 and 8, so I've got about 12, just over 12 kilowatts, because I think the 5 I haven't overclocked it like they say you can. One thing SMA do say is you can overclock them, but you cannot over voltage them. They're not worried about the amps. So that new one's 600 volts. You can't go over 600 volts, but you can go over the watts. 5 kilowatt, you could put 7 on there, as long as you kept under the 600. In fact, I think they advise to overclock. So that's the transfer switch. Now, the reason I've got transfer switches, like I said, I've got a generator in, I've got mains in. This mains is coming in here. It might look a bit Heath Robinson. Sorry, Heath Robinson, lost my train of thought there. This is my mains coming in from the house, which is in a fuse board with another trip and a surge protection. So it basically comes in here into another trip and through an MCB, and this MCB, which is a 16, is basically, and that was that word I kept using, basically I think, running this time clock. So power's going to come in here through, and it's going to come into this disconnect. Basically I had this one, see I've used it again, basically, stop saying basically. Had this, there's no feed that's normally open, so there's nothing coming through there. It only comes through when it gets energized, and then sends obviously the power into an energy meter and out, so I can actually record from Ethernet the flow through and out. So import export, I can see my consumption if there is any, and I can see if I'm overproducing and I want to fit a solar PV shunt or energy to an immersion to use my excess, where in the off-grid position they frequency shift down or up frequency, so to stop them, just power them down basically. So I want to harness that because I never used to and didn't. So this is that setup, whether it's going to work. Now the reason I've got time clock here is I could set this to switch this on and off, which I might do, so then it gives us a generator during the day if we need to use a generator. I don't really want to use a generator, I don't really want to be burning stuff, but I'm just going to trial it. I might never ever use that, it might come out in the end and I'll just use this as this is, and this is where I'm saying the sunny islands might not work, because when this switches off and it loses maybe its neutral, it maybe then will switch the sunny boys off, because normally on a grid connected or grid tied system, that's what happens. It switches them off. But because I've got a battery backup and I want that to still feed the house, I'm going to try and wire it like this and see whether it works, because if it does, I'll explain that in a minute. Well, that's that system. I'm trying to keep it, and this basically is just the data manager. These are where the two sunny boys are paralleled, and then they're going to come here. This is obviously going to come out and go to the internet. The sunny island's going to go to the internet or the router, and so is the new sunny boy, and see whether it picks all of that up. Hopefully that's how it's supposed to be wired. This is going to get wired obviously to stop saying obviously, to the RS485. Let me give you a spin. Sorry about that, the obviously, and oh, I do apologise. So yeah, the original system started off, it was just to give power to the garage. Then I realised we were producing quite a bit of power. The electrical supply, because I live in a little village, is very sporadic, very off and on. You could have 2 or 3 days. Most properties around here have got a generator or some form of backup when they lose power. Well, last year, the year before, they actually have been through the whole village and doing the water system and renewing some of the power cables. So now it's got a lot better. So I thought, well, let's take advantage of it. Wanted to upgrade the system, wanted to update the system, want to be able to add an EV charger eventually for when we go down that route. Electric prices obviously are increasing, going up. So I thought, well, no time like the present to add to it and future-proof it, so I can add more to this system. How much more would I need? Don't know. Like I say, I don't really know, because I can't fully monitor it. All I can see is figures on the screen and work out roughly what goes to the house and come down every day and catch the figures before they switch off and then they go back. There's a running total on there, so I could write the running total and everything down, but I don't know the flow return and the actual full system of the way it works, you know, and how much the house really uses and how much it doesn't use. So it's all a guessing game. So this is why I've done this, to sort of future proof it. There's room for expansion. I've got a few wind turbines that I need to put up and add to the system also. So it's a bit of an experiment and see what we can achieve. See if we can achieve that we won't have to run the generator at all. Fuel prices are going through the roof. Like I said, we had a big generator. We've gone down to a small one because the big one was just far too big. But when we didn't have solar and we were running big machinery, it was ideal. We added solar, wasn't running to its full potential, which is not good for a generator, so we was able to downscale. Can we go fully no generator? If I can get onto a tariff where I can get cheap rate electricity, I can keep the battery stored, I think I can achieve not running the generator and using cheap grid electricity. That's what I want to try and achieve and monitor and basically work out. So sorry for the waffling. Like, subscribe, any comments, stick them in below. Hopefully the next video we have will be all powered up and running, and then we can start doing some data logging. I want to get it up and going so we can go from the 1st of December to the 31st. So the 1st of January will be my first month of being able to log all the data all in one place and actually see what I use, where it goes. Energy meter for coming in. Going to fit an energy meter to where the heating system. Watch out for that video. That's the video of my air source heat pump and the heating system, and why I went for an air source heat pump way back in 2009, 2010, when they were quite new. So, yeah, that's it for now. But goodbye.